Welcome back to the podcast, the Prez Podcast with Kian. We're here to do our Week 5 Power Rankings and a pick for Thursday night's game between the Broncos and the Chiefs. But we heard the feedback from everybody, our biggest fans, saying, get rid of the recap, go forward with the Power Rankings. So that's what we're going to do. If you have any questions about that or want to give us any responses to our rankings or want to debate them, please comment, like the video, let us know what your rankings are so we can have some fun questions and we have some debate about it. So let's get into it. This week, I'm going first. Apparently, last week, Keen went first, as he remembers it. So this week, I'll go first. We're going to go 10-1.
So.
And number 10, I have the hardest team that was picked on this. The spot was really difficult. I was deciding between multiple teams. I really came down to what team I believe more in the future, and that team is the Baltimore Ravens. I know they lost in Pittsburgh, their third road AFC North battle. They beat Cleveland in Cleveland, beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati, lost to the Steelers. But really, this came down to one thing for me. They should have won this football game. They had 8 drop passes in this game. I think 4 of them could have been touchdowns. They to catch those passes early in this game, game's over. Kenny Pickett's only good for one score a game right now, and they're really relying on the Steelers defense. And don't get me wrong, the Steelers defense played great, made big plays, but the Steelers were lucky to win this game. And I think Baltimore right now looks like the best team in that division. So I have them at number 10.
I also have the Ravens at number 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I had them high on this list. They've dropped 3 spots for me, and that is because of the upset win from the Steelers. Of course, the receivers not playing well, dropping all of those passes. Offense did not look that great with those receivers not playing well, and they just overall just did not have play up to the expectations with probably the best team in the AFC North, losing to the AFC North rival, who has beat them a lot recently. But still, in the divisional game, still I have them dropping, but I still think they're a good team. So I have them 10.
All right. My number 9 team is a team that's still in the rankings. I basically have the same 10, just different spots. Number 9, not to give anything away, but number 9 is Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was on a bye, so they sit at 3-1. They move up by default by not losing, but not necessarily winning, so they move up greatly in the rankings. They don't have really a marquee win. I think their best win was over the Saints in New Orleans. But I think, we see them play some better teams. They played Philadelphia. Obviously, they got beaten that game. But their defense is good, and I think Baker Mayfield is still developing a good rapport with those receivers, Mike Evans and Goodwin. And I think that if they can establish a better running game with Rachaad White, they could really be a team that could make the playoffs and win that division. So at number 9, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
For me, at number 9, I have a team who had an upset win in London, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, wow.
Bring them into the rankings. And they just had a big win against Buffalo. Their offense looking very good against that good Buffalo defense, which I actually don't think played that well last game, allowing big plays to Jacksonville. It was actually a lot of big plays this game. Buffalo losing for most of the game, had a few late scores that made it look close.
Right.
But Jacksonville with a big win, I have them coming into the rankings at number 9.
Exciting for Jaguar fans. They played their best football in London, back-to-back weeks. All right. Next up, my number 8 team, another team on by the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this week, if your team having a bye week that early can be, kind of a bummer. If you're a pro and been in the league a long time, you're probably looking forward to that later bye in the week 12, week 13. So having a week 5 bye is kind of rough. But for the Seahawks, it was really a blessing in disguise. Multiple guys with a lot of injuries. Not a lot of guys on IR except for Abraham Lucas, but they do have some injuries, and this gives them a chance to heal up. especially on the offensive line. They do have a couple of defensive guys banged up, but I think this actually comes at a good time. And they have one of the more exciting Week 6 matchups at Cincinnati against a team that maybe got back on the right track. We'll see. So a big game for both those teams in Week 6. But number 8, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, at number 8, I also have the Seattle Seahawks. And I have them going up 2 because I think that team following Baltimore and Jacksonville I don't think that they're as good as them right now.
Okay.
And of course, Seattle coming off the bye, getting a chance to heal up on those injuries, like you were saying,
Right.
and preparing for that big game against the Bengals. Also, like you were saying, with that team, with a game, we'll be able to see if Seattle is actually this good, or if maybe they're frauds, or maybe if the Bengals are actually going to bounce back to 500, or if they're frauds. So, interesting game. We'll see how that goes. And Seattle, again, I feel the same about them. They're a good team. They have a lot of injuries, but still, I think I have them at 8. So.
Okay. All right. My number 17 may have had one of the worst losses in my top 10. But it's a long season. I think they're going to figure things out. It's the Dallas Cowboys. They got shellacked by the 49ers, 42-10 on Sunday night. And it wasn't a good showing. Dak didn't look good. Threw 3 picks. And Brock Purdy looked amazing. And I'm going to take this game more as San Francisco is that good versus Dallas is that bad. I think Dallas obviously has some areas to improve. Mike McCarthy, after taking over play calling from Kellen Moore, is not looking great. Their defense played great against teams like the Giants in Week 1, against a really poor New England team last week. But these aren't teams that are really, really good. So the Cowboys don't have a marquee win yet. But it's a long season. I still kind of have some hope that they will figure things out and be better. But we'll see. But at number 7 for me, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, so the team I had at 7, I was debating putting them higher on this list, but the teams above them, I don't think they've shown that they should drop that much. Not yet. At number 7, I have the Detroit Lions. So, of course, Detroit, we know they're very good, and they definitely in this year and in the coming years could become one of those juggernauts in the league. But for now, the teams above them still have proven more. The teams that are already juggernauts. So I think that they will continue to rise in my rankings, but for now, I have them at 7.
Okay. All right. My number 16, the Buffalo Bills. What a weird team the Buffalo Bills are. Blow out 3 straight opponents, including a very good Miami team. But, have a stinker in Week 1, and then they go to London and have another stinker. Their offense for 3 quarters looked really, really out of sync. I know they've had some debilitating, Tre'Davious White gone for the year. Mike Milano now gone for the year. I mean, heartbreaking, those injuries. Mike Milano, big heart and soul of that Buffalo defense. To lose him to that injury, a gruesome injury, it's just really sad. Pray for a speedy recovery from Milano. But I'm not sure how that long-term effect is going to have it. But the real weird thing about Buffalo is when they decide to show up and when they don't decide to show up. But their fastball, their A+ game is really, really good when they're playing on all cylinders. So that's why I still am at number 6. They're going to win a lot of football games this year.
At number 6 for me, I have the Cowboys dropping 1 spot. Like I said, I was debating putting them under the Detroit Lions, but I still think that they're a very good team, and that if they play well and if they utilize their talent well, then they can be a very good team. And there's still lots of uncertainty with that big loss in what we thought was going to be a close game, a good game against the 49ers. And heading into a game against the Chargers, if they lose this game, it's not looking very good for the Cowboys. So after that, I don't know what's going to happen with them. But if they do win that game, I do think that they can be a good team. So I have them at 6, dropping one spot, but I still think that they're a good team.
Okay. My number 5 team is the Detroit Lions, and they're 4-1. They're playing really good football, and they may have won the division already. The Bears are 1-4.
Might as well.
They're not going to compete. The Vikings are 1-4, and Jefferson just got hurt with his hamstring. Is out on IR at least for 4 weeks. The best player on the Vikings, without a doubt. The Packers just went to the Vegas and had a stinker. They have a 2-game lead already, and they have a really easy schedule coming 5 weeks. So we may as well just crown them the NFC North champs. It's not looking good for those 3 other teams. You know, Jordan Love still has a lot of development. Obviously, the Packers got to figure that out. Aaron Jones' injury hurting. He didn't play again on Monday night. It just looks like it's a division. But talking about Detroit, their offense is running in full cylinder, and their defense is coming along. So they're going to be a team in the playoffs. It's going to be exciting. I think they're going to win the division and be exciting, and I'm excited to see what happens with the fighting Dan Campbells.
I agree. But at 5 for me, I have the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, dropping one spot, but still remaining in the top 5. Yeah, like you mentioned, they have proven and shown very good performances. Of course, Josh Allen and that offense looking very good. They even played well against Jacksonville, but still they lost. So against a team that wasn't thought to be that amazing, even though they did make the playoffs last season. But yeah, still, even though sometimes they look bad and they have a lot of injuries, I still think that with that potential they have, I have them in the top 5.
Okay. All right. My number 4 is the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins got back to business after the blowout loss to Buffalo and beat the sad New York Giants at home. They get the Carolina Panthers at home this week. Don't worry, Miami has a tough schedule down the road. They have a lot of tough teams they have to play still. But a couple easy weeks here back-to-back from Miami. Get their offense all right. But we did have the sad news about their rookie running back getting his knee hurt. Why can't we have nice things? Why can't we have nice things like rookie running backs and Justin Jefferson getting hurt? Just bad news today in the football world. We want people to be healthy. And especially with these injuries, like a hamstring injury, soft tissue, you know. Devin didn't really have like one big play that hurt his knee. Devon, thank you. They have one big play that hurt his knee. But, you know, it's unfortunate. But I think they'll still beat Carolina this week. And I think Miami's defense will continue to get a little bit better throughout the season. Remember, still waiting for Jalen Ramsey to come back. So I think this team will be in the hunt for the AFC 1 seed, and that's the Miami Dolphins.
I agree. I have the Miami Dolphins at 4, going up by 2. Now, I mean, with a big win and Buffalo and Dallas both losing, I think that they are a top team in the AFC, and their offense again is very good. So yeah, if their defense continues to develop and get better, when Jalen Ramsey comes back, pass defense plays well, then they are a very good team.
All right. At number 3, I have the defending champs, Kansas City. What's on the brain? Kansas City Chiefs. Start calling them KFC. Kansas City. You know, they beat the Vikings 27-20. They just don't look like the Kansas City team of old. They don't have that impressive win. You know, they avoided any drastic thing. Kelsey for a minute there looked like he got hurt in this game. He came back and played. You know, they're just doing enough to win. I mean, I guess wins and losses are all that matter. But I'm still worried about them playing a marquee team and being able to move the ball as efficiently as they used to do. And even though their defense is playing better, I'm just worried about their offense and their passing game. Don't get me wrong. I know you got the best player in the league, and he makes things happen. There was one play Minnesota blitzed through the house at Mahomes. He drops back off his back foot, throws it up, and Watson makes an incredible catch. Plays like that, you're just like, how does he do it? But they're really reliant on him to do that right now. So that's why I have them not higher at number 3, but still the best team in the AFC as of right now.
At number 3, I have a team who had not changed my rankings, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't think, the top 3 teams have not, in my opinion, they all won, so I don't think that not much has changed with them. So I'm continuing to have Philadelphia at 3. I think that they have had closer games than we have expected. So if their defense plays better, then I think they could be at 2 for me. But now I have them at 3.
Okay. Alrighty. My number 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they had their best win of the season this last Sunday. And I know the Rams are more feisty than we expected, but also not a top tier team, obviously not my top 10. But I thought this was an interesting matchup. And I thought the Rams with Cooper Kupp coming back would be able to move the ball. And in the first half, they were going back and forth, and the game was close. But then the second half, Philadelphia established their dominance and pulled away. And it did it on defense. They were able to start getting pressure on Stafford, and they shut out the Rams in the second half. And that's what I've been waiting for. I'm waiting for that defense to take the next step. I know people have been worried about their offense, but their defense has been my concern, especially their passing defense. But, Jalen Carr is getting better. The pass rush is better, and I thought their game plan overall was better. So I think the Eagles, undefeated, 5-0, still the class of the NFC East for now. And on their way to maybe making another deep playoff run. But we'll see. A lot of football left. But number 2, Philadelphia Eagles.
At number 2, I have another team that didn't change, the Kansas City Chiefs.
You mean the KFC Chiefs? No, Kansas City. Okay.
Kansas Fried Chiefs.
Okay.
So lost my train of thought there.
Sorry. Sorry, I distracted you. Go ahead.
Still their offense looks very good. They had a close game against the Vikings, but the Vikings lost to the close game against the Eagles, and it seems every game of theirs is a close loss now.
Yeah.
So I don't really think you can take anything from that.
Oh, okay.
The Chiefs, they still have a great offense, and of course their defense, on what was an underrated defense last year, is playing even better. So, they won the Super Bowl. I have them at 2.
Okay. All right. I think this is everybody's consensus.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear based on how well they're playing. And that is the 49ers. They are putting up 30-plus points against every team they play. Brock Purdy looks like maybe he should be the MVP. There's a lot of debate about, it's just Shanahan's system. He makes everybody. I want you to check something. I want you to do yourself a favor. I want you to look at Jimmy G's numbers for any stretch, any 10-game stretch, and put them against Brock Purdy's numbers. And you're going to see a stark contrast. And think about how you view Jimmy G and why you're applying that to Brock Purdy. The numbers differences are different. They're different. There is a considerable upgrade in Brock Purdy versus Jimmy G, and it shows. Not only this team used to be you think about running and defense with the 49ers, and they would win games like 20-10 or 21-17, and they'd win because their defense made plays and Jimmy G did just enough, and they were able to run the football. Well, now they're blowing teams out. They're putting up 30-plus every week, and their defense is still good. They're a very scary football team, and the reason for that is the play of Brock Purdy. He's really efficient. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's making tight window throws. If you look at some of those patterns that Debo and Ayuk are doing across the middle, and the patterns, he's finding the open guy. He's being decisive with the football, and he's being very accurate. He's a little more accurate than Jimmy G, and that's the difference. And his decision making is better. So to put him in the same class as Jimmy G and give Kyle Shanahan all the credit is one thing. Don't get me wrong. Kyle Shanahan has been big in his development as a quarterback and getting him to this point. But his ceiling far exceeds what Jimmy G ever could in this offense, and it's showing. And that's why the 49ers are dominating, in my opinion. But easily, the number one team, the 49ers.
I agree. Easily San Francisco. I do not see them dropping in the rankings for the foreseeable future, unless they get on a losing streak. But we all know how great the 49ers are. Of course, their run game is great. Their pass game is great. Their entire defense is great. But you have to talk about the play of Brock Purdy. Of course, coming in as a starter, they're still undefeated.
Yeah, good stat. Yes, he has not lost a regular season game that he has started.
And he has been playing well. He's the quarterback that they have needed that can elevate this team. And with a good quarterback, being able to change that entire team, that offense, I don't know who can stop the 49ers.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to look at their schedule to see, they do still play Seattle twice, and Seattle does play San Francisco tough. But right now, man, they're healthy. 2, they have the best running back, the best middle linebacker. You could argue one of the best pass rushers, the best left tackle. And they're on the same roster. And right now, the quarterback with the best stats in the league and the highest passer rating is on the 49ers. It's, they really need to, they lost, obviously, to Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 54. They need to get a Super Bowl and win to cement their legacy of this era because there's a lot of Hall of Famers on that team, Fred Warner will be a Hall of Famer. I think George Kittle will be a Hall of Famer. I think Trent Williams definitely will be a Hall of Famer. He's probably the best player on the team. Nick Bosa continues his play, his trajectory will be a Hall of Famer. Those guys need to get to the Super Bowl and get a ring to really cement their legacy. Yeah. And this looks like it may be the best chance to do it this year, right? There's not a lot of we don't have another super team we're looking at, So, anyway, all right, that is our power rankings. This Thursday, we have a dud. We have Denver, the sad Denver Broncos that are looking like they're about to have a fire sale and trade off every asset they can afford. I'm sure they would trade Russell Wilson, but no one wants to pay him $50 million a year, so they won't be. So they'll just trade everything else because they're stuck with him. I'm sure Sean Payton's really excited about that, but you could look at their stats and say Russell Wilson's not really the problem. Yeah. It'd be hard to argue. He's playing better than he was last year. That is for sure. Is he a top 5 quarterback? No, but I don't think he's the reason they're losing. Either way, they are 1-4. They lost 3 of their first 3 home games, and now they're going on the road to Kansas City on a short week. And their defense is horrible. A pass defense especially. I think Kansas City wins this game by 2 touchdowns easy. Definitely.
Again, I have Kansas City at number 2. I think that they're amazing, of course. We all know that. And the Broncos, are 1-4, one of the worst teams in the league. So I don't think this is debatable. The Chiefs, it's a divisional game, but the Chiefs are going to win this.
All right, that is our power rankings for Week 5 and our prediction for this Thursday night game. We'll be back on Friday. Our video will post on Saturday, so I should just start saying that. On Saturday, you'll see a video of us giving our picks for Sunday and Monday for Week 6. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you on Saturday. Take care.